Hi, I'm Corey. Welcome to Creating with Scraps. I was just chatting with a friend and told her I was tackling my to-do list and making some things. And she said, well, stop talking to me and turn on the camera. So my to-do list is certainly not something that's a lot of fun for most people to see, but I'll share this with you simply because maybe it'll inspire somebody else. Let's see, first, foremost. So what I was doing is making some super simple junk journal January pieces. And what I mean by that is I don't take part with Meg Journals. I'm not part of her collaboration with Junk Journal January. But I really enjoy using the prompts and playing along with Junk Journal January and Junk Journal July. And my word this year, I've decided for 2025 is simplify. I really love the quote by Einstein, everything should be made as possible. Try that again, Corey. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. And I've liked that for a long time. I've had it on various journals and notebooks and such. And I decided simplify was a really good word last year, or I say last year, it's still 2024. This year's been a huge challenge in so many ways. And one of the things I realized when we had to replace all our flooring was that I needed to make things more simple at home. And I wanted to carry that out through other things as well. So I thought I would make some mini journals that I could choose to use if I wanted to for a really simple, anybody can do it junk journal January book. And I got the idea from something I did with my students. Now, many fifth graders, not just mine, but many of them struggle with understanding or comprehension of nonfiction text. And nonfiction text structures and nonfiction text features and knowing what those are and how to utilize them helps some students better understand and retain informational or nonfiction text. And one of the things that I've done with my students was this, how to create a mini book. Now, I bought this back in, I don't know, a while ago, 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. And I've done it with various 4th and 5th grade classes over time, but I remembered that I didn't do it with my kids last year. So because I rolled up from 4th to 5th, I thought I would do it with my kids this year. And so we've done that. We've done, quite a bit. But the booklet itself is a really fun, easy little booklet that works well for junk journaling. And so that's what I did with this. I used the same concept and made a little mini book. One piece of 8.5 by 11 paper or A4 paper can make a book with, 2, 4, 6, 8 pages. And it's pretty simple to do. The directions are here, and I think I've made these before and other people have made them before. They're not new. But I wanted to carry that on with the idea of making a really simple journal. So I used some paper and I made one, but I wanted to make it work for the entire of Junk Journal January. So I started to play using that same exact concept, but instead of just having 8 pages, because January is 31 days, I tried to figure out a way that I could combine 4 pieces of paper to make a journal that would work for the entire month. No sewing. You don't have to sew in a signature or use a sewing machine, but just super simple. And so I started playing with that. And then, as usual, I learned from my mistakes. I did some scrap paper and carried on with the idea and utilized it here with some different kinds of paper. So it's the same thing. It's just a different size paper. And you do the same thing here. But then I decided again, simplify. So I did it with just some coffee dyed paper and thought I would use that concept and put it into a simple journal, right? But I remembered something after I got started. So what I had done is I put the pages together and then I used a simple hinge binding that I've used before. It's just a 1/2-inch piece of paper folded in half, used as a hinge. That's all this is. And when I did that, I thought, okay, I'll put it together with a paper binding at the end, and I put that down. And then I remembered why I don't love this system, because what happens is, so let's pretend I didn't cut this to take it apart so you can see. So let's just pretend that that's there. What happens is it kind of pops out. It doesn't, because it's not glued to the spine, it doesn't stay, and it's a pain. Now I will be able to reuse this by putting more hinges in. So I'll take more of these little hinges and you can see I started it right here. In fact, maybe I'll show you how I did it. So you can see here that it made this accordion thing, and it's not working so great because I didn't want to sew it into the spine. But you can make it work by putting more of these hinges in. So I had put some hinges in initially, and then what I thought I would do is just put the rest of the hinges in. And the way you can do that, now I'm not going to use these because I didn't cut. I thought I had some paper left that I had cut, but I guess I didn't. But the idea is just glue down on the edge and then put your hinge. This is a different color than the other one, which is why I'm not going to use it. So just a little bit of glue right here at the edge of the paper. Push this hinge, this folded over hinge down, and then take the next page and fold it down and glue it on top. And you do that all the way across, and then what happens is you have a glued hinged binding. Now, I did the accordion style fold, and I got that idea from something that Kara from Kara Brandon Creates did. She did a W type page, and she got that idea from somebody else. And I thought I would carry it through with this and then glue them together. So that's where the idea for this came from. And what I'll do eventually, because of the way that I had originally done this, I'll just tear or cut these edges here rather than having pockets. And it'll just be a little notebook. But I can save it by using the hinges. And then, because I was playing with hinges, I'm a list maker, and I love having little notepads to make lists. Well, maybe you can see here. I'll move it over. On the side of my paper over here, let's see, there you go. I started making myself a list, and that's one of the reasons I like notepads that are list notepads. And so I had offcuts of ledger, and I thought this would be kind of fun. And again, I used the W or M. I guess it depends on which way you want to look at it, an M or a W, right? And then use some offcuts of the ledger paper. And I thought maybe I would make a little accordion pad this way to have more list places. And I used both the top and the bottom because this was a long ledger. And then I just kind of stacked them together like this. This is super thin paper, so I don't know that I'd sew it in a signature, but I'll make a notepad that way. That's on my to-do list. I was going to use this concept that I've shared before. This is cardstock, so it's much thicker, but it uses the same exact idea. Where are my hinges? There you go. So you can see, you just take a little piece and fold it, maybe you can see, and glue it down, and then you can have an accordion style, which is fabulous if you want front and back, but if you don't want front and back, it's not as efficient. I'll show you here how I did this. But another thing that I was working on is I had leftover scraps on my desk. I had recently gone to an estate sale, and I got this really pretty lace, just a lace panel. In fact, that's one of the things I was going to show you. Sometimes estate sales can be a little spendy, but sometimes you can get phenomenal deals. I spent $1.48, and I'll show you what I got, because it was the last day of their sale. Apparently they'd done it some weekends before, and everything was 80% off. So my entire bag was $1.48. And included in that was this really pretty lace, and I used the lace with some scraps that were on my desk from, again, Ledger, because I'm going to do a journal at the beginning of the year, an everything journal or a life simplified journal using Ledger. So I had these leftover pieces, and I just started playing and making a little journal. And I was chatting with my friend Tracy, and I said, wouldn't it be cool if you could make, was at Starbucks, and on their bulletin board there were a couple of the flyers for tearaway, like house cleaning and dog sitting and babysitting, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, why couldn't we do the same type of thing on like a scrap pad or a matchbook or what have you? that you can tear away like we would for a scrap pad. And so I just typed it up on the computer and glued it down here. And so when I'm putting this super simple journal together, I can come in and tear off. These are based on the Beatitudes. And, you know, some of the attributes from the Beatitudes, like being humble and gentle and patient and kind and such. And so I just made really quick to put up on top of there. But the idea is then you can tear off bits of this, and it's a pocket. So I could put a note or something in here. And there's a little notepad here so that I could tear off bits of the notepad to write our, the whole notepad to write notes. And here is a cluster that I just lightly glued down. So I could tear this cluster off and glue it on a page. And then there's some scrap bits, like a regular scrap pad. So that was kind of a fun thing I was talking to Tracy about. And as these pieces were on my desk, I just kind of glued them in there. And I glued it on as a scrap pad because it fit a scrap pad with scrap words. So that was kind of fun. And I don't know for sure what I'll use this for, but I think there's enough pages to journal. Like maybe I'll make this a February journal or something. I don't know. But I had it on my desk and I was playing with it and thought I could finish this up. But it utilizes that lace, and that's what I will do now. I'll show you what I got for $1.48. This video is going to be all over the place because I don't have a specific plan of things that I'm going to show you. It's just kind of a create with me or show and tell, or I don't know, something like that. But isn't that really pretty? And that's just on top of a piece of card. Chipboard, I guess. I just sewed it around on a chipboard to make the back. And then I used a piece of clear acetate here so that I poked holes in it and used eyelets with the ledger paper. And I wanted this to hinge so that it would be easy to open and close. But I didn't want the, not Kevlar, try again, Corey, Tyvek to show. So I just used a piece of heavier clear acetate, and that worked pretty well. And then that's just a side tuck there. So that was kind of fun, and I don't really know for sure what I'm going to do with the rest of it or when I'm going to use it, so that's kind of almost done. But I wanted to show you what I got for the $1.48. And that'll go in my work in progress bin since I don't know what I'm going to use it for. All right, so I can't even put the whole bag down here. So this is some light pink tulle that was, this is everything you're going to see now is part of that $1.48 deal. So some light pink tulle. I have a granddaughter who is 4 and loves to play dress up and wear fun things like this. So I thought I'd make her a tutu. And then there's a little bit darker color pink that I thought maybe I could, that was also in there, and I thought maybe I could layer that over the top or something. And then there was just some little bits, and this was in her, at the estate sale, the fabric bin, and there's different hole dimensions. I don't know what that's called in the world of sewing, but so all of this tulle was in there as part of it. And there was quite a few linens, and though I may not use the linens in their entirety, this is actual linen, and there was some really pretty embroidery on there, and I thought, you know, I could cut it down here and make a pocket or a journaling card or something like these. I've kind of done these in the past. They're not a surprise. These are handkerchiefs, and then I use them to make pockets. I sew them on card or something, and then there'll be a pocket inside of a journal, and I thought I'd do the same thing with this. Again, part of the estate sale item. Sorry, I was dropping stuff. More corners from a linen piece that I had done that with. So that on 2 different sides. Oh, there's more. Here's more of tulle. And then this is wool, which I thought was really cool. I love using wool for a lot of things. I don't know where that was from. It looks like it was a hem of a pants or something, but I can make wool flowers or something with that. And there were some little pieces of fabric. This is, I think, a linen tablecloth. And again, there's a whole bunch of these really pretty wreaths, stitched on wreaths on there. And I will just cut them down and put them on, and maybe even something like this for a pocket on the front of a journal, or a side tuck on a journal, tuck it down here, that kind of thing. So that was part of it. This really old tape measure. And again, there was quite a bit of flat lace and varying shades. I don't, oh, so that's, I guess that's a cat that would make a pocket, and there's a heart and some more linens. And I really like this because it's kind of, well, you can see there's like holes in it. There's a name for whatever that's called, and it's escaping me right now, but that'll be, get some really cool pockets. And then some thicker that might work really well size-wise, I thought, for a journal cover. And bits of lace, crocheted lace, and panel lace, and little bits and pieces of that. And then this is some trim. It looks like this was probably on a pillowcase at one point, but I thought that'd be really cool for a journal. I rarely use colored lace, but that was just too pretty. It looks like it's hand tatting. And I will definitely make a purple journal at some point. So got all of those, more little bits of lace that were left over, crocheted pieces. Sorry, the bag is so big that it's falling down on my lap. Again, still in that $1.48 bin. Oh, and I thought this was really cool too. This looks like it's a napkin of some sort, but with cut work. That must be the word. And then again, I'll make that into a pocket, sew it on something. And a doily, and then a larger one, which I thought would be really kind of cool again for a journal cover or something along those lines. Or if I was ever able to embroider, that would be really pretty embroidered on there. Let's see, Trader Joe's bag. Some more linens. This one's brown, so that cut work. I thought that would be really cool pockets for somebody. I have a friend who likes brown a lot, and maybe for her brown journal. Same idea here, all that embroidery. I'll just cut bits and pieces and make pockets and bookmarks and belly bands and all of those things. I love doing that with those. This was some eyelash trim. Just thought it was pretty. I could probably use it with my students. A doily, still in the $1.48 bag. Love this. There's our butterflies, it looks like. And I thought that would be, I might have to wash, I'll definitely have to wash it. But I thought that would be really cool for the front or a closure of a journal. You know, to kind of wrap it around like that maybe and be a closure. And more bits of linen. There was, oh, that's for my granddaughter Brooke. It was a little bag that was there with teddy bears on it. There were some books. Again, I'm still in the $1.48 business, and so I'll give this to the alphabet book to my youngest grandson or save it for my new granddaughter who's coming in February. I just did a compare and contrast with my students. We looked at the traditional story of the Three Little Pigs, and then we looked at the Three Little Javelinas and Les Trois Cochons. Set in Louisiana, and how we did compare and contrast with the three different stories. And so I thought that was really cool. Had to get it. Gonna give that to my grandson. Flowers, and this is the flat page books. I thought these illustrations would be so pretty as, I don't know what year this book is. Oh gosh, I would have to be able to read that. And I can make that out. I just have to stop and think about it. But it's older, and it doesn't have the glossy pages. It has the flat pages. And someday I'm actually going to make a daffodil journal or 5. And I thought that was perfect for it. But all these really, really pretty flowers. I thought I could harvest some of these really pretty flower images from this book. Mind stretchers. Oh, puzzle games. I got this for my mom. All different kinds of things. This one, oh, I was so excited. This is an oil can, not oil, what's that word? What's the word I'm looking for? Acrylic canvas. You can see they used nails and made their own frame. Let's see, is this strong enough to get it? Oh, I know, if I do it like this. But I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and you guys can tell me if I'm crazy or not. Okay, am I at 30 minutes yet? No, not quite. I promised myself no matter what I would stop at 30 minutes because I could ramble all day. Okay, plan B. Here we go. I've got some wire cutters. I'll cut this. everything's strong enough. Yeah, my pliers will lift this up. At least they should. I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and that you're enjoying a little bit of downtime between, you know, depending on who you are and what you do between Christmas and New Year's. We went to Boise to see my granddaughter and then my grandson that lives in Louisiana. We went to Boise last weekend because they were there. And then Brian works as a city bus driver, and so he had to come. We came back so that he could work. And then we'll go again this weekend. All 3 of my grandkids will be there. So we're really looking forward to that. Okay, let's see. So, okay, here you go. It looks like they glued it on this chipboard, but I thought, wouldn't that be a gorgeous like bookmark? I could finish the edges or the front of a journal cover. I can't make out who did this, but it's clearly acrylic paint and it's a bit of a canvas. I bet I could even... I bet I could. I want to utilize that. And the chipboard's nice and thick, so it looks like they stuck it on multiple layers of chipboard. Yeah, I can just peel it away. But I can sew it on or glue it on or do whatever. I'll probably sew it on. But isn't that really cool? That would make an awesome bookmark or a pocket on the front of a journal. I just thought that was really pretty. So I grabbed that from that same estate sale. Okay, I'll put these things away and I'll show you the rest. Because for my $1.48, I am still not done. I guess I could have done a video on just this. Okay, here, I'll dump out the rest. The bag was part of that. It was a really cool Jolly Time popcorn bag. And, all right, more linen with the cut work, a bit of vintage Christmas fabric. I'm not sure what kind of fabric this is. It looks like polyester of some sort, but it's soft, and I liked it for, I grabbed it for journal covers. Designer knits. Wow, okay. I don't even know what year it is, from JCPenney, back when JCPenney sold fabric. And more linens, and I think this will be really cool because I like that gold color. Fall is my favorite color. And there you go. Another one of these, make a super journal cover over some canvas or something, or fabric journal cover. More tulle. This is a finer tulle. Oh, I didn't even know this was in there. Cute little snowman bag and a bit of plaid ribbon. Makes me think of Scotland. Some fabric, black fabric. More of that Christmas fabric. A cut work. Maybe I already went through that. This, I'm not quite sure. Maybe that was just part of something that I grabbed, but it's pretty, so I could always use it for pockets or something. Let's see, there was this old book, Those Who See, and they had really pretty poetry in this book. And the first page, it's got stamped images and really pretty poetry and pretty paper. Again, stamped images. It really made me think of Jib and Neary. Look like here, this is mulberry paper, and it looks like there's a butterfly sewn into it. In fact, maybe I'll use this and another piece there, and I can cut out some of these quotes or poems and use it in there too. But I thought this was, oh, here's another one with a leaf. Isn't that pretty how they've got it pressed in between the mulberry paper? So that was part of the haul. And there were a couple of here we go, dragonfly earrings. Now, I only wear my gold earrings, but I thought those would be really pretty dangles. And then these green beads. I love this color of green. Again, very fall for me. And so I'll use those beads for, and then it looks like these are half beads, and then these are gold beads. So I'll deconstruct this and use the beads for some different projects. Same thing with these little pearl pieces and gemstone pieces. I can use those as dangles on books. I thought that flower was really pretty. That was part of the sale also, as a closure on the front of a journal, like a lace closure. And then some tatting. There's a couple different pieces of tatting. I love that stuff. And then a new book, Flowers for My Dear Friend, but it had sunflowers on it. And I have apparently this lady's name was Irene. One of the people I work with is Irene. Anyway, there's some quotes in here that I thought were really cool. Friendship is like a rose, so maybe with I can cut out the quote and then use it with a die cutter or stamped image or something. And then there's some really pretty, those would make great embellishments too. So all of that, everything you just saw there. Oh, and this too, which I thought was super cool. Obviously it wasn't $1.79. This is one of those hem things. It's a sewing thing. I don't sew much other than my paper, so I'm not 100% sure. But I know that this is like to measure your hem all the way around kind of a thing. And it's an old one. And I thought it was really cool. So all of those pieces, all of those items were $1.48. And okay, 5 minutes. I've got 5 minutes left. Okay, this is my favorite find of there. I was born in 1965, and this is a feed sack from 1965. And so I was born on Tuesday because my birthday is January 12th in 1965. So I thought that was really super cool. And again, that was in my $1.48 bag. So happy stuff there. Coming up, I guess maybe since I'm running out of time, as usual, I use this all the time. I mean, all the time. I've got I'm part of a collaboration, an Organize Your Craft Things collaboration in January. My day is January 4th. It's with Cara Brandon Creations. And I'm focusing on, you can't see it here because I've got it zoomed in, but my desk. And beginning with the end in mind and how I've made it so that I don't really get a mess in my scrapbook room. And if I do, or my craft room, and if I do, I can clean it up within 4 or 5 minutes. And that has to do with being organized, yeah, but more than that, it's the desk and the surface. And so that's going to be my focus. And backtracking, Life Simplified. I made this journal with a swap from Tracy a couple years ago. And I call it my life organizer because it's got a little bit of everything. You know, when I get tags or notes or postcards or I just need to keep track of collaborations that I'm doing or the prompts for a junk journal or retreats that are coming up or a variety of things. Oh, like here, Amazon gift card, gift cards I've gotten in the mail, a recipe, a note, flyers for antique markets. There's some in March, there's some in May. This is the box of candy that I got for Yola Boca Flood. Anyway, I use it for a lot of different things. And this one is really full, so I needed to make another one. And I'm going to do that online for other people that might like it because I love lists, but I don't like having a list here and then here and then here and then here with all the different things. So I am going to put that together, Life Simplified journal, using some covers that I'd started to make last year with the yo-yos. And I think I did that with you guys. It might have even been 2023. Don't remember. But anyway, I've started that and I'm going to put the ledger pages in there. And I learned from that journal what works well for me and what I need and what I don't use as much and that kind of thing. And the categories that I need. Like I read a lot. And so I like to keep track of the books that I read. And the Yola Boca Flood, sending out the thank you gifts to people, having a section for that type of thing or swaps or collaborations and having sections for all of that really helps me. So it's kind of a planner, but not necessarily a traditional planner because I don't write things, every month, every day. And I need different kinds of lists and things to organize myself. And I've got a whole plan for sharing that. But I had these pieces that I had started last year when I was cleaning up something. And I thought this would because the size is really good. It fits nicely in my hand and it fits in my shelf. It's the right height. And the reason it's this fat is because I will put a whole bunch of stuff in there and it will get that fat. And I also I was going to use it in this one, but I think I'll use this in a different one. Jibidneri, and I shared, Jibidneri makes a portable flower press that you can toss in your purse or your pocket or what have you. And I thought, how cool would that be to have as an insert inside your journal? So if you get a flower or if you're out and about and you get a couple flowers and you you just want to save those, you can put it right there inside your journal, close it up, tie it off, and then just kind of forget about it for a week or two until it's completely dried or however long that takes. And it's right there inside your journal. And the journal gets compact and tight enough with all the pages and all the things that it'll easily compress it. So I figured out how to do it as an insert, and that'll be something else that I share. And then here is the same exact idea, just a little bit longer, a little bit wider. And I'll put the pages right in here on a piece of canvas, and then I'll put the canvas in, and this is just a rescued quilt top. So same idea. And so I've got that. That is coming up. Oh, darn it, I'm at 30 minutes. Okay, so this idea, so this can work as a junk journal January, just like it is. You go with the prompts each day, and then when all's said and done, take a bit of fabric or lace or paper or whatever you like for the cover, and then there it is, all done. It doesn't have to be complicated. One of the emails that I've received and questions that I've gotten quite a bit is, how do you just get started? Especially when you're a beginner or you're busy or you get overwhelmed. It doesn't have to take long. You could probably make this entire thing within 15 to 30 minutes. And then you've got something basic ready to go, ready to decorate for Junk Journal January or whatever prompt thing you've chosen. Let's see. I mentioned Kara's. I mentioned this. Also, I'll show you how I did it. So I did it with a couple different kinds of paper, and I was playing around with it. And I realized that when I'm doing this, so what I did was I took some thrifted, what is this stuff called? Sheet music paper. And it was double this size. So I just cut it in half because I wanted the music to go in the correct order, the sheet music to go in the correct order. So I cut it in half, and then I trimmed it, and I did several pages of this, and then made myself a stack of pages. And I'm doing this last one to put into the book to show you. So I folded it, it's long, right? If you were using regular 8.5 by 11 paper, you would want your 11-inch this way, and then you'd want to cut it at 4 1/4 inches, and that would give you the right size. So it's based on this, but rather than folding it, I just cut it. Rather than folding it over like this, I just cut it in half. And I did that because I didn't want thick pages, because I'll put stuff on it to make the pages thick. So it's based on this, which is based on this, which is based on this. So we came back around full circle-ish, right? It's based on this. And the way I did it is, so if it was folded over, it would be folded over, but I cut it in half. And then I just folded it in half and matched up the two ends. And then it's thin. It's not as thin as like copy paper, but it's old music paper. I think the year was like 1930 on this or something. So folded it in half. And then I'm going to take each edge and fold it back. I'm not folding it next to each other. I'm just folding it back to the original crease. So one piece folded to two will be flipped and folded into 4. And so I folded the right edge back to the side, and then I'll flip it around and do the same thing. Just match them up, and they do not have to be perfect. All right, so you make an M or a W depending on which way you look at it, right? Here is your M, and here is your W, unless I just did it upside down. But for me, that's correct. All right, the first time I did it, I wasn't careful, and you can see I made a mess about where I put my hinges. I wasn't as careful as I should have been. But that's fixable because I can just put more hinges in there, like right here. You can see I can put a hinge here, and that'll make a page. And then I can put another hinge here, that'll make a page. So I'll be able to rescue this. But if you're doing the same thing and you're wanting to do a super simple, junk journal for January, or for any time really, for any purpose or any reason, just be mindful that you want your hinges to go on the same side. And I'll show you what I mean by in just a minute, so you don't create more work for yourself. It's fixable, and I'll be able to fix it, but you want to make sure your hinges are all on the same side. And that's what I've done here. And this is going to be one, I don't know which one I'll use. Maybe I'll do, I don't know, I'm not even sure which one I'll use, honestly. I guess it just depends. These are a little bit wider because that was the paper was a little bit wider, and this one was a little bit narrower and taller. I like them both. So I made them just like this, right? Same way. And then there, you can either hold it as a W or an M. I'm using it as an M because I'm laying it right on top. Oh, I'm going to lay it on this side. I want to make a hinge. My first step is to put a piece. I'm going to connect my M. So I'm going to put that hinge. I open it up. I want to make sure I'm right side up because I want the music to go in the correct order. So I've got these gatefold, basically. I'm going to flip it over and open it up. And that would be where the tops of my M connect. I'm going to put a hinge right here. So first piece, I've already got some pre-folded, and all I did to do these is I cut them in 1/2 inch and then I scored them. You don't have to score them. They're thin. You can just fold them in half. So that's what these are. And I will just put a thin line of glue. It doesn't matter what type of glue. You could use tape too, but I find that tape, when the weather turns, like if it's really hot where you are or humid, it doesn't always hold real well. So I've got my folded over hinge and I'm putting it with the fold outside. So the fold is going to be on top. The opening is going to be on the inside of my page to where the crease is of my M, and the fold over is going to be on the outside. So just match up the edge and lay it right down there. So you can see there, I've just put it right on the edge of the paper. And I'll press it down. It dries pretty quick. It's thin, so it dries pretty quick. Now, where it's folded over, you can see it's open right here. I'm folding it down for the fold, kind of like for people that sew the bias stuff. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't know that much about sewing, at least not sewing on fabric. Glued, and now, remember the back side of the gatefold, I'm opening it, and I'm going to glue it right down on itself. So I glued the M closed, is what I did. I made myself this little booklet. Now, this was intentional because sometimes I like to sew on my pages, or I like to poke things through. I can close the bottom of this once it's in my journal and make myself a top pocket. I can take a divot out of here. I wanted to leave options open because I don't know everything that I'm going to do for the Junk Journal January. I know what the prompts are, but I haven't memorized them or anything, and I don't know what I'm going to be inspired to do at any given point. So I wanted to leave that open so that I have options. All right, so this is my now closed M. I want the open pieces, the one closed edge in the center and the open pieces. I want those next to each other. So here's my little booklet, and my sheet music goes up. So the open edges go here, and then this is going to give me a little bit of wiggle room. Now I can't get this super fat, and I tend to like things fat, but there's only 30 days, 31 days in January. So now I'm going to connect these pieces. So when I made this, I did all of these at once. I glued my M closed, basically. Now you don't have to use a hinge if you don't want to. You can just glue that edge, but I find that the hinge works better. It makes it a little sturdier, and it also gives you a little bit more width. You see how there you've got a little bit of room, so if you put something bulky in here, you're going to be okay. All right, so I did all of these, and then I stacked them on top of each other, and that's when I glued them together. And now I'm going to take my second hinge, and I'm going to glue my booklet, the ones that I've already previously glued, to the one that I just made. And I'm going to do it the exact same way. I'm going to glue my hinge right on the edge, and notice on this one, all of the hinges are on the same side. I don't have any hinges over here. That's kind of important, because that's what I did wrong on the other one, and now I've got to go back and fix it. It's fixable, but it's just easier if you do it right the first time. So here's that. And again, I want to make sure that my hinge opens to the inside. I'm going to line it up and glue it down, and then I lift it up and look at it to make sure I've done it mostly straight and that it's mostly at the edge. The beauty of this, it doesn't have to be perfect. It'll still work, and you'll still be happy with your finished result if it's not 100% even, straight, or perfect. We will wrap this when we're done. All right, so I've got the one piece of the hinge, and now I've got the M piece that I just glued together, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not gluing it here. I did that. That's the mistake I made on the other one. I'm not gluing it to the edge. I'm gluing it to the already folded hinged piece. So I'll put a little bit of glue right here. This is similar, but not exactly the same to a journal, no-sew journals I've done in the past. I was just playing around with paper and thought this would be kind of a fun one. And now I will, making sure my sheet music goes in the right direction so my music's not upside down. Though if you don't mind it upside down, I guess it wouldn't really matter. I'm going to line this up, make sure it's straight, make sure it's even-ish, and I'm going to put this together. Oops, see, oh, you can see it's still a little bit wet. I had it lifted up, which is why it fell off. Takes a minute to dry. Let's put a little more glue on there. Choose the right spot. I just wanted you to see it. I don't normally hold it like that, but I wanted you to see what I was doing in case you wanted to make some. The beauty of this is I used 4 pieces of paper, any paper. And I cut it in half. So if you are using smaller paper that you might have, maybe you use 8 pieces, either 4, depending on, the size of your paper. I used 4 pieces of paper, 4 pieces of sheet music, and then about a half of a scrap. I just pulled from my scrap bin of solid, this is, I want to say it's cardstock, but it's really thin cardstock. Here I just used, this is just wrapping paper. It's really thin, not this stuff, the roll that I use to cover my desk so you guys don't get the glare. And I used, you can see there, I used that and it works just fine. It's the same, I did the same exact thing. And okay, it's dry now. And now I've got a super simple, a non-sew little bound book that I have options. I can glue the bottom together. I can put another hinge on the bottom if I need a bigger pocket, but I also have, like if I were to poke something in here or sew something on there or whatever, I've got a place where I can hide what I've done. The other option is, now I've got more than 31 pages, and I did that intentionally because every once in a while I may want to do something like this. Maybe I'll cut this one or whatever. Maybe I need to make another pocket. I can use those same hinged pieces, and use them to glue these 2 pieces together. Now I can put it on the inside, but because of carrying the theme through, I can also put it on the outside. So if I need to create another pocket, say back to back, I want to put a tag or a note card or a bookmark or whatever in there, I can. And I can glue one on each side, just like I did before, but rather than gluing the outside, I'll glue on the inside and wrap around like this to close off and make a pocket. And it carries the color and the theme all the way through. So that's how I did that. If you're joining Meg, it's Meg Journals for Junk Journal January. Her prompts are up on her Instagram, and I believe she's got a YouTube as well. I've not watched it, but I always see her prompts on Instagram, and it's a lot of fun. I've done it several times. All right, let's see. Oh, another thing. Okay, so I guess this is going to be a 45-minute video. This is what I bought, the Harry Potter Lego car. I bought this for a White Elephant gift exchange, and then I liked it so much I kept it, and I got something else for White Elephant gift exchange because, that's kind of what I do. The last thing I wanted to share is different things I found that I thought were really cool. So here's a great example. I was at a restaurant, I don't remember, Hops and Drops, I think, and I liked how they folded this super simple piece of paper to make a pocket. And then you can open this up and color on it. And so it's the easiest thing on the planet. So I'll show you on another video how to do that. I kept it as my granddaughter Breck was with me, and they gave us an extra one, just as a way to hold the crayons. But I thought it would be a great way to hold like a little journaling place or something. And then you could open up the whole thing and journal on the whole page if you wanted, and then just tuck this back in with a little pocket. So I thought that was kind of cool. One of the things I saw at a craft show over end of November and December is this. That is embroidered, and you can see it's just a little bit bigger than my thumb. It's tiny. I can even see to embroider that way, but I purchased that because I've got a journal that is in progress that I thought this would be an absolutely gorgeous dangle for. So I got that. So if you're somebody who can embroider, look how beautiful that is. This was with one of those made with one of those X tools or CNC router or whatever, with the laser engraver and printer. But I bought this for one of my favorite Hufflepuff people, and I haven't mailed it to her yet. This was with one of those embroidery machines. I got this there, but I thought it's just a little gift card holder. That could be really fun in our junk journals, but it needs a 3 here, so Ho cubed, because, you know, this is wood, and I thought I would do 2025. Now, I don't love this side, and I'm not quite sure how I would tie down those, but I thought it'd be kind of fun as like a cover dangle or something. You could always I could put a piece of paper behind it too, so that you didn't see this bit. But I thought that was kind of fun, so I thought I'd play with that. And these were the lady who did this thing, the mini embroidery. She also did some, not a watercolorist, but she made these really pretty watercolor bookmarks, and I purchased those too because I thought they were really pretty. And then somebody with one of their laser engravers engraved on these pens. Oh, are you still talking? And it made me laugh because, Lord knows, 5th grade. Oh, there was a really cool thing in here that I wanted to show. Oh, I bought this at an online auction. Patty Lang from Sacred Mementos does auction, and every once in a while I'm able to get on and bid on something. And I'm turning 60 in the beginning of the year, and so I really wanted to use this for my junk journal January. I thought that would be really cool. And then this is an old metal plate. I don't know why, 100. I just really liked it. And I thought that'd be kind of cool in a journal as well. It's thin. This one, I don't remember what she said it was for, but this was bent. I just straightened it so that I could put it in my journal somehow. Just thought it was really cool. So wanted to show those things. I think that was all I really wanted to share. They have these little mini 2025 calendar pieces. I have a whole stack of them. I thought that'd be kind of fun to stick in some albums and journals and such this year. And okay, I think that's enough. I've talked and talked and talked, and you've made with me, and I turned on my camera, so there you go. There you go, Carrie. I did it. I hope everybody has a safe, blessed remainder of their holiday season, and that 2025 brings in a beautiful new year for you. Thank you all very much for watching, for your support for Hula Boca Flood. Oh, that was the other thing. I have one envelope left to mail. It went to my husband's PayPal, and he forgot to let me know. So I've got one envelope left to mail, but I believe everybody else that sent a donation for Yola Boca Flood, it was a huge success. On my Instagram, I put up a picture of the books and the chocolate and all the things, if you'd like to see it. And it's just my name, Corey Dahman. If for whatever reason you didn't get it, I had one come back that needed more postage, only one of them. And so she told me that she did get it. But if for whatever reason you didn't get something that you believe you should, please, please comment below or send me an email, and I will make sure I mail it to you, because I don't want anybody to be dissatisfied. I will probably do another fundraiser. My 5th graders are going to camp in May, and the camp itself has been sponsored because we're a Title I school, but I will want to get the kids camp sweatshirts or something, and so I'll probably do the same thing with a fundraiser. Oh, last thing I'm going to share, because I am a list maker, Tracy Fox from Tracy Fox Creative. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. She is working with Creative Expressions. I'm sure all of you know this. She's working with Creative Expressions, and she's made some stamp sets, and the first one, I believe she's making more. The first one was the entomology, and there's a paper pad and 3 stamp sets. And so I've got these, and I'm playing with them. And because I like lists, I was playing with this, and I was gluing that down. So I saw Kara Brandon create that W journal. Basically, she created a journal that was like this with envelopes, and she got it from somebody else. I don't remember who she said she got it from. And I thought that would be really cool. I had these coffee dyed envelopes that just fell onto my desk somehow. Anyway, I thought that'd be really cool to make a little list journal instead of using my scratch paper or my non-glare paper. And so I've got a notepad list here, and then I've got one here, and then you open it up, and then there's another one on this side. So that I can use for a while, and then I've got places here. But I'll use some of Tracy's paper and stamps to finish decorating it. And I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do yet. I thought I would play with you, but obviously my 30-minute video is almost an hour now. I'll cover this up and wrap it so that I can open it and close it and what have you. And anyway, put some of these bits and pieces, though. This would be sideways. Maybe I'll use that as a closure. That'd be kind of cool, huh? That's really pretty. So anyway, just thought if you are in the market for some stamps, Creative Expressions makes them, and they're absolutely fabulous. Just beautiful. And her entomology paper, if you like darker grunge or what have you, it is just simply stunning. And again, I believe she's got another kit, and I don't know what, coming out sometime this year. So keep your eyes open for that as well. Again, I appreciate you, and I am happy to create with you. So thank you for joining me and following along. Take care all. Happy New Year and happy creating.